Good evening and welcome to the computer science talk. During the talk I will be giving you a bit of information about why you should be choosing it and what's involved in the course. Hopefully the slides are changing on your screen for you as well, so you can see what's being talked about. So first of all, why take A-level computer science? Technology nowadays is used in all careers, all jobs that you will go into, and it's an opportunity for you to be a part of history, shaping the way that technology is going to be created and used. So a lot of technology at the moment is obviously created by a male-dominated field, and it'd be really good to have a good female presence. You might have an interest in learning how programs actually work, and if you like being creative, then it doesn't stop you from taking computer science because it is a subject that combines both invention and excitement. So there's lots of different fields that you can get into if you take computer science. It complements lots of other subject choices. So computer science is about problem solving. It's using a logical approach to break down a problem that is given to you, and then we use a computer to then solve that problem. Other walks of life that you may go into, you would be given problems, and then using the tools for that particular career, you would then obviously find a way to be able to solve that. It helps to improve communication and other written skills. It provides a good grounding for other subjects that might require that sort of computational or problem solving aspect to it. And it's also useful for prospective employers, so it could give you the edge over somebody else. Now, in the past, I've had lots of girls taking the subject and choosing lots of different other subjects with it as well. So I've had people that have taken computer science at A-level and then gone on to do music at university. I've had somebody do zoology. It doesn't just limit you to doing computer science at university if you take it as an A-level. So there are lots of different subjects that you can combine it with. So music is one of those if you wanted to get into the sort of more technology side of it, but also languages and also textiles. So there's lots of textiles involved, also technology involved in textiles as well. These are just a few of the sort of women that are on the top inventors list at the moment. So we can see here that obviously these would have been sat in your position at the moment, thinking about what career they may want to go into, what sort of interests they might have, and using those interests, they've then been able to develop lots of different technology to try and help within that area. So the lady on the left, she has obviously helped scientists be able to focus more on the actual science that they are trying to sort of investigate by having programs that will produce and sort of sift through data a lot faster. The lady on the right has obviously been helping within the farming industry. So again, it's trying to help in lots of different areas that you may not necessarily have thought about before. Two others, we've got here a lady that's kind of been looking at doing artificial intelligence and robotics, a very up and coming area within computer science at the moment, and a lot of interest in that as well, and a lot of gaps in the market for having female presence in those particular areas as well. And then the lady on the right, she has obviously developed an AI, so again, artificial intelligence, to try and obviously help identify molecules in patients' bodies. So would you be able to do it? So it is approachable by any student. Okay, we do prefer those that have done computer science at GCSE, but if you haven't, it's not a major issue, so long as obviously we do the work during the bridging period. Obviously, if you have done some computer programming, again, that is going to be beneficial, but again, we could always catch you up on what is needed. One skill that is probably quite important is perseverance. So programming is notorious for not working first time, and it's that ability to be able to keep going and keep going and keep going until you get that eureka moment of it finally works. And that feeling of actually getting it to work after kind of sitting in front of it for a little while is quite a magical feeling. It does kind of go, oh, I can do it. I have persevered through the pain and I have managed to make my program work. We do require you to be organised and self-motivated. So the programming side You would need to keep sort of programming outside of the lessons, just to sort of keep your skills improving that little bit further, and obviously all the other theory work that goes with it as well. So now about the actual course that we'll be covering. So we look at doing CIE, the 9618. So here we look at lots of different things within the real world. So we try and apply it to lots of real world scenarios to give you that little bit more insight into how technology you're using at the moment kind of affects real world goings on. Okay. So how is it broken down? There are 4 different papers. So they're all taken in year 11 and they all have an equal weighting. So paper 1 and 3 are your theory papers. Paper 2 is sort of more problem solving, looking at giving a kind of breakdown of how to complete a particular problem and scenario that you're given. And then paper 4 is your practical one. So you will be required to do some programming in the exam, but it's all kind of based around exam questions that you'll get given on the day. So you don't need to do any preparation other than obviously all of the programming practice that we will do. And obviously over the 2 years, we will do lots and lots of programming practice so that you are confident in being able to sort of tackle any question that came up on that paper 4. So looking at paper 1 then, so paper 1 covers a lot of what we do during the GCSE, which is why we say obviously it's preferential to have done the GCSE, because paper 1 and paper 2 lead on very nicely from that. But if you haven't done it at GCSE, we can obviously still consider you as long as you've got a good grade in maths. So all of those different topics there. We look at databases and do some programming within databases. We look at the actual hardware of computers, how all of the different parts actually function together. We look at how data is represented, security. So anything with that will be short answer and structured questions. Homework wise, again, further research, looking at past paper questions, reading around the subject, and also doing some further programming exercises for that one as well. Paper 2 then, again, is another written paper, again, short answer and structured questions. As I said, this time though, it's on the more problem solving side. So you would get given a scenario and asked to kind of write down a plan of how you would solve that problem. We also look at some of the programming, but more the theory side of it. So there won't be any specific programming questions to do any practical programming, but it would be the more theory side of the programming. And then a topic that we haven't necessarily covered at GCSE, software development. So we look at the whole cycle of how a piece of software, some that you may use, some that you obviously might want to develop yourself, but we look at the whole process of how somebody sits down to kind of go, this is what I would like my piece of software to do, right from that kind of initial idea all the way through to completion. Paper 3 then looks at kind of some of the similar areas that we do in paper 1, but goes into a bit more detail. So you can see some of the headings there are kind of similar to what we had before. So hardware again, but this time we look at virtual machines. Artificial intelligence gets brought into that side as well. So we start looking at how actually machine learning goes on. How do we have computers that start learning for themselves? Again, a bit more programming in that side and a bit more on the problem solving side. And then paper 4 is your practical one. So all of the questions come from the exam board on the day. Again, a lot of problem solving ones, practical programming within there as well. So that's why it's a slightly longer paper than the other ones, because obviously we need to give you that practical time to be able to do the programming. So the expectations for it, obviously usual things within A levels, have an interest in the subject, because obviously if you're interested in it, then obviously you're going to do more well in it. Having homework and any programming work completed on time and to a good standard. Making sure that you are keeping up with programming outside of lessons, and also keeping up to date with computer science as a subject. So obviously it's one that is constantly changing, which obviously is very good for us because we can see in real time new things that are coming out. So this is just some of the things that some of the girls at who have taken it before at A level have said. So some of them have said you'll be surprised how many university courses have coding sections. Taking the A level will be super helpful. Now I know from past experience from people that have done university courses before that had nothing to do with computer science whatsoever. I know somebody that was doing archaeology and which you wouldn't think had any computer science element to it at all, but they were tasked with one of their modules to create an app. Now, I know one of the particular girls who had taken GCSE computer science, and she found that very, very useful. Another person took physics, again, not very computer science related, but again, they were asked to create a program that would help with a physics experiment. So it is kind of creeping in more and more to lots of different courses, because obviously technology now is used so prevalently anywhere. Problem solving and coding was really fun and helped with my other A levels. The lack of women in computer science can seem daunting and unwelcoming. More women need to get involved so others don't miss out on how fun and engaging coding could be. So again, it may be that actually you find programming that little bit of challenge, but that's good, because obviously once you get over that challenge and you see things working, then you can kind of progress on that little bit further. It's a great foundation for many subjects. So again, the range of topics that we cover is actually broader than what you kind of think it might be. So it's not just all about programming. It's given me a deeper understanding of topics learned at GCSE that will be helpful in many careers. So again, because we have covered at GCSE some of the topics already, but at quite a sort of superficial level, we go into a deeper understanding of those particular topics at A level. I chose computer science because nowadays there aren't many careers that don't require a basic knowledge of computing. So again, any career that you go into, it's going to have some element of technology in it. So by having taken A-level computer science, you're giving yourself that little bit of an edge over somebody else that maybe hasn't, that little bit more understanding, that ability to be able to kind of show yourself in a light that kind of might be beneficial to the employer. You get an insight into new technologies, including artificial intelligence, which opens many doors into things to study at university. So again, there's lots of combinations that you can do. If you want to have a look at some of the combinations, come into the computer room if you can. Have a look on the wall. There's lots of different things there. There's business and computing, there's geography and computing, there's geography and IT. So there's not just obviously the computer science side as well that you could go into at university. There's the IT side. It's allowing you to be able to relate to many other subjects. So as I said, lots of combination options. People taking it at the moment are doing some science subjects and computer science. We've got people doing maths and computer science, but you've got people doing maybe psychology and computer science. So there are lots of different combinations that you can sort of go with it. I enjoyed computer science at GCSE. It was a great overall subject which can help and overlap into other subjects. It also has no coursework and I enjoy the coding side to it. Again, if you're not a coursework fan, then obviously because it doesn't have any coursework, we just have all the practical programming side, then again that might be another reason to think of it alongside other subjects. Just some sort of resources that you may be able to kind of have a look at and keep an eye on. So these are just some ones that to kind of give you a starting point, but there are lots of others out there that kind of have lots of up-to-date information about computer science, maybe new technology that's coming out, new equipment, software, etc. for you to kind of have a look at. Okay, so I think that's the end of my presentation. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to let me know in the Q&A. So the programming language that we use at A-level is Python. So if you've done GCSE with me at school already, then you will know that we did Visual Basic, but at A-level we switch over to Python just so we are broadening our understanding of different programming languages. At the moment, there aren't any electives related to computer science, but that's not to say that there can't be in the future. If there are any other questions, just pop them into the Q&A. If not, I will let you get on to your next session. If you're in school and you want to know any more information, just pop by the room and give me a shout or drop me an email. If you're not at school and you're interested in it, then please feel free to drop me an email, e.powell@jcg.sch.je, and enjoy the rest of your sessions.